Alright guys, today we're going to talk about body lifts and suspension lifts and give you some of the pros and cons of each, and hopefully I can help you decide which one's better for your vehicle. Guys, if this is your first time coming to the channel, welcome. I hope you'll decide to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I've got a lot more videos planned like this, so there should be plenty to keep you entertained in the future. So how a body lift works is it's basically just a spacer that sits between the frame of your vehicle and the body. Now obviously that means this only works on vehicles that have like a fully boxed frame. Any kind of unibody vehicle or anything like that isn't going to have a body lift option. So you're mostly looking at things like pickup trucks, certain SUVs like the 4Runner or the Jeep Wranglers. Now since these things are basically just little hockey puck spacers, the parts themselves are generally pretty cheap, although some shops might charge you more to install them compared to a regular suspension lift. Another thing you got to be concerned about with a body lift is anything like electrical wires and hoses and things like that. Anything that's going to be connected to the body and the frame itself, because if they don't have enough slack built into them, obviously putting in a spacer is just going to make that line or wire or whatever a lot tighter. Because of that, a lot of people recommend only using body lifts on, older trucks and things like that. So think like, pre-90s, before electronics started getting a lot more prevalent in vehicles. That way you just have a lot less things that could go wrong with it. Now one interesting thing to point out is they can be used in combination with a suspension lift. This was actually pretty common on older Jeeps and things like that because most lifts were only 2, 3, maybe 4 inches, but depending on what size tire you were trying to go with, maybe you needed just 1 extra inch to get the clearance you needed. So what people would do, rather than buying the more expensive 6-inch kits, they would just get a little 1-inch body spacer to go in combination. And generally those smaller body lifts wouldn't cause any kind of adverse issues with wiring, again, things like that. Body gaps wouldn't be too much. Body gaps are something you will see a lot more of. You can see on my F-150 between the bumper and the body. Now this is the stock gap. I don't have a body lift on this truck, but if I did, even if I only added an inch, it's going to add that inch right here. Kind of the same way for you Dodge guys that have newer trucks that maybe have exhaust pipes that have little recesses in the bumper. Depending on how your bumper is mounted, a lot of times your exhaust will hang down. The bumper itself will get lifted up, but the exhaust will hang down and you'll have a really ugly gap around it. Now, of course, these are all things that can get fixed. I'm just letting you know the issues that are probably going to come up if you do use a body lift. One benefit, depending on how you like your vehicle stock ride, is your body lift really isn't going to change that. It's going to use all the stock suspension. So if you're really worried about compromising how your vehicle rides from the factory, then a body lift might be something you want to consider more. Now, suspension lifts work by actually adding taller suspension to your vehicle. Now this can be done a few ways depending on how much money you spend on the kit. For most pickup trucks, your base entry-level kits, a lot of times they'll use the stock shocks and struts, and they'll just have taller spindles on them, and then maybe a lift block for the rear. Or you can go the route I did on my truck, and I basically added taller coilovers and upper control arms to basically get the same effect. But the end goal of a suspension lift is, one, going to be to add a taller suspension to get the lift you want, to be able to add the taller tires, and 2, you want to actually increase the off-road performance. So with most lift kits, you'll see different options for maybe some different spring rates depending on how heavy you want to have your vehicle loaded down. You'll have different shock options depending on, are you trying to do a lot higher speed stuff, or do you want to do more rock crawling or just very light trails. Now, as far as costs go, the cost of a suspension lift is generally going to be more expensive than just a body lift. That being said, pretty much any shop should be able to do basic suspension work. And as strange as it may seem, a lot of people say it's actually cheaper to have a suspension system installed than it is to have a body lift put on. Now for me, I did put my suspension on myself, but I will say I won't fault anybody for not wanting to do their own suspension work. I can't stand doing suspension work. When you're done putting your lift kit on your truck or whatever you have, you're definitely going to have to do an alignment. which depending on where you live can be a hefty little added cost. One good benefit of actual suspension lift kits is you're going to have a lot more customizable height options. Now, yes, you can get body lifts and 1 or 3 inch heights, but when you compare that to suspension systems, the current kit that's on my truck, I can go anywhere from stock ride height all the way up to 3 inches. You can get more traditional lift kits that are 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 inches, pretty much as high as you want to go. So if you really want to go a little more extreme on your vehicle, suspension system is going to give you a lot more options. That way, whatever size tire you plan on running, you can get your vehicle dialed in just right. And also with suspension systems, since the lift is actually achieved by adding a taller suspension, you're not going to get those weird bumper gaps. You'll be able to keep your factory gap between your bumper and your hood or whatever other body panels. You're not going to get that stupid gap between the bed and the frame where people can see the car on the other side of you. And guys, yes, I know you can buy little fender liners to cover that up. I still think it's stupid. But yeah, guys, I mean, those are the basic differences between body lifts and suspension lifts, and again, just some of the good and bad things about each. Now, I really don't recommend using a body lift anymore, again, unless you have just like an older vehicle or something like that, an old Jeep, an old square body pickup truck or something like that. If you've got a newer truck like mine, really you're better off just dealing with just an actual suspension system. Might be a little more, but overall in the long term, you're going to be better off. And if you are dead set on using a body lift, just keep it small. Check the forums for your different vehicle to see what issues people may or may not have come across. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm actually going to be doing a series on different types of suspension. So you guys, if you want to see that, stick around for more. See you in the next one.